can be on the same page. Now, what is economy? Economy from the technical point of view is the state of a country in terms of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services, and the transfer of money. That is what economy is about. So, whatever has effects on any of those things I have mentioned, I repeat, the word economy simply means the state of a country in terms of the production, the distribution, and the consumption of goods and services, and the transfer of money. I've mentioned 4 different things there: production, distribution, consumption, and what? Transfer of money. So anything that affects either directly or indirectly any of those 4 items I've mentioned has a bearing on the world economy. Now, what has pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic, what has it done to any of the 4 things I have mentioned? You realize that most operation has shut down. Manufacturing operation, like my friend earlier said, has shut down. That is production. And of course, the supply chain too has equally been affected. That is distribution. The purchasing power of every household has equally been affected. That is what? Consumption. And of course, there is no money in circulation as it ought to be. Banks are not even open and what have you. Transfer of money affected. Financial institutions, we want to give you double-digit interest if at all you want to take anything now. Instead of making it easy for people to borrow money and spend on and use it in their various enterprise, and which will eventually act as a stimulus to rejuvenate the economy. So that is for the economy. There's another thing we need to know, what are the cardinal elements or agents in an economy? Am I even an integral part of an economy in the first place? So if anything happens to an economy, I have told us what to look out for, to be sure if the economy will be affected. Then we also need to be sure, will I ever be affected in an economy if anything happens to an economy? Now, what are the agents of an economy? There are just 3. The first one is the producer, which are the firms, meaning that all companies, all organizations, they are a major player in an economy. The next thing is the household, the consumer, and it's the government. So, check the 3. If you don't belong to the government, if you don't have a company you are running, at least you belong to an household, isn't it? So it means that whatever happens to an household will affect you. So this makes the topic more critical for us to look into and to dissect very well. Now, straight to your question that what are we supposed to do and how are we supposed to act? We are not expected to know what we are to do alone, personally, as a member of an household. We also need to be aware of what our government is expected to be doing at this point in time. We also need to be aware of what organizations are supposed to be doing at this point in time. So if they are not doing what they are supposed to do, eventually it will affect what the overall outcome should be.
I want to throw this question to my deacon. Yes, I want to show this question. Since you said 2 years, we should prepare for 2 years, like 2 good years. That is extremely.
That is a whole lot.
Seriously,
you deal with 2, 3, 4 months.
Most,
2 years.
Really, most people don't even know about this. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Seriously, I really want to hear about the theory too. I really want to.
So I will repeat the question again. What are we to do to help ourselves and the nation as a whole?
Yes. First and foremost, I would like to first of all, let's see the problem that this has put to our feet. Number 1, we have said before, I would like to repeat it again, is that the rate of unemployment will be on the rise. As I speak to you, unemployment rate in America has gone to 20%. Now, it's going to be a long way walk to get America back to less than 5% rate of unemployment they were before this.
Pandemic. That is pandemic.
Now, another thing that is happening is a fall in global demand for commodity. Now, commodity, when we bring it back to our country, Nigeria, I would like to quickly speak on this vis-a-vis the error that the Nigerian government has made in preparation of our budget for 2020. Budget for 2020 was prepared on the assumption that the crude oil that generates over 80% of our funding for the budget was assumed to be at 57 per barrel. And as we speak today, per barrel of crude oil is at 26 per dollar. Yeah. And with this has thrown the Nigerian government into trouble. How do they get the money to finance the budget? And I also heard a few days ago that they want to do what they call budget amendment. Now I want to respect the finance people, the accountant general, because all of these are put head together to prepare this budget. With due respect to all of them, there is one thing which I think they didn't do. If they had done, we wouldn't be in this kind of problem. And that is what we call hedging in finance. What is hedging? Hedging is a financial instrument, or we call it a market strategy adopted to correct any adverse price movement. If this had been done, the Nigerian government would have gone to sleep on the prices of dollar. And that would have helped us in a time like this. And also I want to add, I have heard for some times now that some country has even mentioned when they want to start doing away with petroleum cars. And I want to believe with this should have been put into consideration in fixing the price of the crude oil. These were not put into consideration. And another effect, let me move on. Another effect that this pandemic has caused is that there will be a reduction in spending. There had been a reduction in spending. There was someone who wanted to buy a car, and the bargaining had been concluded. He said he was going to pay on Wednesday. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, the lockdown started. And when a call was put through to this person, the person said, for now, I will hold my money because I don't know how long and how far this will go. There is also inflation rate that we have seen. The movement of people from their house to their places of work, if you've been spending 100 naira before, this has gone up to as high as 200 naira now on the average. So if you go by this, even at the marketplaces, dollar has gone up. This has affected the pricing of items in the market. Serious inflation is also the effect of this on our economy. Then, to save our time, let me go to what and what do we need to do. I have summarized what and what we need to do into 5. Number 1 is that we must work seriously on our saving culture. The savings culture must be top notch this time around. I am talking about an individual now. Then our productivity, that is another thing. At all time, you must be productive. Enough of flapping around this time around, because things are tough now and things will be getting tougher as time goes on. Except God will help us. Then another one is innovation and thoughtful. These days, we must be innovative and we must be thoughtful, most especially in spending. Then another one is education. Education, what I mean by education is this. We don't need a psychologist this time around. We need people who can educate, who can invest, who can put their money in education, learn a new thing like photo shooting, photo editing, website designing, Facebook ads, And all of these are the things that will be striving and that people will be, these days, because there is no social gathering, where to sell and to promote your business now is now online. And it is only people who have this knowledge, who are educated, that will definitely benefit from this. And lastly, that we should be looking into is what? Is agriculture. I can take each and every one of these items I've listed 5, and I can talk about them extensively. When we talk about savings, I want to summarize it in a few times. You see, people really doesn't know what it means to save. Some people who collect salary, they will collect salary, they will settle the foodstuff seller, they will settle their landlord for rent, they do all those things, and they will forget to settle to pay themselves. The first thing we need to inculcate now is pay yourself first. Pay your tithe. Then you now manage the remaining of your salary among all other expenses you want to do. Why are people not really paying themselves? It's because they don't know what they want, and they have not sat down to quantify the effort they have put in getting that what? Getting that salary. Then another thing is that why you have not been saving. Why have you not been saving? One is because people have put so much concentration on their education. Because I am an accountant and I get salary, definitely I must be paid every month. And when I spend this money finish, the following month I will be paid another one. And I have money that will come in every month. This is not the time we want to do that. This is not the time we want to do that. Another reason why people don't save is because they don't stick to their basic needs. People don't stick to their basic needs. Some people, they believe, someone said, human wants are unlimited. But you have this time around, it is not even your want. It must be on your needs. What are your needs? If you don't need it, even if you want that thing, it should wait. It should wait. Don't know how to say no is another reason why people don't save money. People will come to you, people want to borrow money, people want to collect money from you. You have been working and you continue to give people. You don't know how to say no. I'm not saying you cannot help or you should not help.
When you are not Father Christmas.
You know, when you save, you see, when you save,
Yeah.
that is when you have more money to invest and you can have passive income. When you have passive income, you have more money that comes into your pocket. That is when you even have more capacity to help people. But instead of you dashing out everything and you don't have capacity to help people in the long run, it doesn't make any sense. Peer pressure is another thing. Peer pressure. I want to wear the latest design. Some people want to dress like Davido. Davido doesn't know them. Don't you know that Davido dresses the way he dressed and they get him paid for that?
Yes, of course.
Those dresses, at times they give it to him to ensure he wear those dresses. And they pay him for it. And some people, they want money they are supposed to use to better their life and their economy. They want to use it on what? On dressing like
Davido.
Like Davido. Reasons why you must save. Reasons why you must save. Reasons why you must save. You must save to create passive income. And when you talk about passive income here, there are a lot of passive income you can do. A lot of passive time will not permit me to say that. Another thing is, you must save because of emergencies. Most especially people who are married, who have kids. Your son or daughter can develop an ailment. Where do you want to run to in a difficult time like this? People will tell you they don't have money. One of the reasons why you must save. And lastly, that I want to say, reasons why you must save, is to manage stress. Stress kills people. When you need money and you don't get it, you get stressed up and you have health issue. And before you know it, it is already out of hand. Thank you. I will leave it there.
Oh,
That's
Mr. Kehinde Olajuwon, that was, I could feel it. You kept reeling it off and off and off, and
he's loaded.
you never wanted to stop.
He's loaded.
I had to keep signaling to tell you, stop, please stop. But seriously, That was quite enlightening. Thank you very much, sir. I think I highlighted 5 key points at this point in time to help ourselves, to help the nation at large. Savings is key. Productivity, another one. We have to be innovative. Then education. When we talk about education, I think you are trying to be precise about learning a new skill.
Just sit down. Just sit down. Come on,
That thing that you learned before the pandemic might not just save you now. Learn things you can do now. People are learning a whole loads of stuff now.
Online.
Stuff,
Yeah,
and
online.
it's really helping. And lastly, agriculture. As much as I would love you to emphasize on that, but you actually took time to narrow it down to savings. Why we need to save and a whole lot of stuff. That is quite enlightening. Thank you very much, Mr. Kehinde Olajuwon. We really enjoyed that. On a personal note, I enjoyed that, and I'm sure my listeners, they did too. Now to Mr. Samson Akinwale. I know Mr. Kehinde has said a whole lot of stuff. Even at that, I know you still have a few points to buttress all that he has said on countermeasures and probably effects and counters. So I would love you to do that in the next 3-5 minutes at large, sir.
Thanks a million for giving me the opportunity again. He has extensively given us an x-ray of what the situation is and what we are expected to be doing. A few other things I would add to that is just what I have here. In the first place, we should remember that COVID-19 is just a forerunner of something more deadly. It's just preparing the way for something more devastating. So how we handle COVID-19 will place us on a pedestal of being proactive in advance against what is coming, which is deadlier than COVID-19. And that is why all these useful tips we have been given at this moment are very, very important for us to imbibe and start putting them into action. Now, going back to the 3 things I mentioned earlier as far the agent in an economy, I said earlier that we don't need to necessarily look at ourselves alone because you are not the only one in the economy. If you are doing your own part pretty well, there is somebody who is supposed to also do his own part.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do his own part, it will eventually make a mess of whatever you are trying to do.
Very true.
Now,
Very true.
the government aspect of it, we are being told that government is supposed to be an enabler, giving us an enabled environment. And in the developed worlds, we have many enablement provided by the government that makes life easy for the citizen. Not that Nigerian citizens are not critical in their thinking, not that they are not brilliant, not that they don't have ideas, but most of the time, you see some predicaments on their way. They meet some big walls in the course of what they need to do for their life. So, I would get back to that in just a moment. So, going further to what an individual or an household is supposed to do. What COVID-19 has taught us, or what COVID-19 has brought to our consciousness is the fact that there is a trend that has changed. I could remember an author by name John Nasbitt. John Nasbitt is an American author that writes on the trend of things, especially economy and history. He had written a book over 25-30 years ago concerning what we are currently experiencing. And I had to go back to that book to read some things about what the guy said. He mentioned 10 mega trends that are transforming the world about 30 years ago. One of those 10 mega trends now is what we are currently facing. Some people, their whole life, what they have been orientated with, what preoccupies their mind is an hierarchical order of things. I am the boss. COVID does not respect boss, so you just have to put down your shoulder. So the world has left hierarchy to networking. If you cannot network in COVID era, you are no longer, you are nowhere to be found because you soon exhaust your ego and you will land in trouble. So mention that God has left hierarchy to networking. He also said back then that the world is going to leave industrial society to information society. And that is what we are in. That's what Mr. Olajuwon was trying to say earlier. That it is high time you left things that are no longer essential. That plays out in the COVID scenario. You see the government saying there's going to be lockdown, but we're not going to lock down essential sector. So if you are going to delve into entrepreneurship, as my colleague has said, what you need to do, you must ensure that you diversify such that all your entrepreneurship is not concentrated in non-essential sector. Because something greater than COVID is coming. When that thing comes also, they are going to do lockdown for non-essential sector. So what befalls you that time? So what is expected of us is to ensure that, okay, as much as currently I find myself in the non-essential sector and I want to get other sources of income, think about essential sector. Think about what lockdown cannot stop. Workplace has left the workplace, and workplace is no longer in a particular place. Workplace is now everywhere. Workplace is in the air. It's no longer on the road, not on the road, not in water, it's in the air.
Yes.
And air money is what counts now. Is what is rolling in all the benefit that anybody has to do. And that's why even Dangote, with all of his years of experience in his work and all that, we can't be competing with somebody like Mark Zuckerberg, because their business are not the same. Mark is getting money from the air. Same goes for Apple, Facebook, and every other business online like that. So when you are thinking about other source of income, when you are coming up with initiative and you should try and not leave the essential sector and what lockdown cannot hold down as it were. So what do we do? I will mention these three things. You must practice minimalism. Practicing minimalism simply means that you must not live a maximum life with a minimal income. It doesn't make any sense. Spending maximally with a minimal potential is a life heading for the rock, and it's going to crash someday. So you have to cut your clothes, and you cut your coats according to your clothes, not your size. Everybody needs to start shaping their size now. When your size is too excessive, you need to tell that size to borrow itself going. It is COVID era. Shaping it back to what the demand of the time is talking about and maintain what you are doing. The second thing talks about liquidity. Think about liquidity. Don't think about things that will get you cash trapped all the time. It is serious damage. It is catastrophic in nature. So you must be liquid to the tune of what you need at that moment. The spending capacity and the spending. Now, the third thing is to think necessity. My colleague mentioned something like that earlier.
Very true.
Whatever you don't need, don't put it as focus. It is not about your want now, it's about your need. Because your want is always insatiable. So why not jettison it and go ahead with your need? So think about minimalism, think about liquidity, think of necessity, things that are needed now. These are the things you think about now. For those who have businesses, I would also like to speak to you. I would also like to speak to you about your business, because if your business dies, many families will suffer. Your family is earning its living from your business. Some other people working with you are also making their income from your business. So we are also having your business in mind. What do you need to do about your business? In the first place, apart from business plan, there's something called business model. So COVID-19 has taken all of us back to revisit our business model. And in your business model, there are things you need to juggle out, to reanalyze. Because when the business environment is changing, businessmen are expected to reconceptualize what they are doing and redo it to fit what exactly the demand of the time is. Now, what are the constituents of a business model? There are just 9 parameters I will mention just straight away. If I don't have time to explain it, no problem. People can Google. There is Google everywhere, so you get to know and understand better. So, the very first thing about a business model is the customer segment. Most entrepreneurs are after their money. After revenue, and what have you. But what you need to do is to do the needful, the most critical thing that will naturally fetch you money without you struggling for it. And that is your customer. What I'm trying to say is that you don't need to prepare an in your house and go to market to start looking for how it will sell or how that idea will fly. What is expected of you is to check into the market, check your customer, check the target market you want to explore, look at their need, and prepare a solution in form of an idea to meet that particular need, to balance it up. So that is the customer segment, which means that your customers are the most critical. I ask you, entrepreneur, how many of your customers have you called during this COVID-19 era? How many of them have you sent SMS to just to know how they are faring? Where are the corporate courtesy? If anybody does not have empathy with customer, they are going to lose those customers during COVID and even after COVID. Because nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So this is what will sustain your business. So apart from customer segment, the very next thing is the value proposition. What is your idea really another? Next thing is channel. Channel talks about the supply chain. The very first thing that comes is the customer relationship. 15 is now the revenue stream. Number 6 is key resources. Number 7 is key activities. Number 8 is key partnership. And the very last one on the business model canvas is the cost structure. You can Google that to know more about them later. But the most critical of it is number 1, which is the customer. Look after your customer. Show empathy, show concern, communicate clearly to them that you still have capacity to deliver. Find a way of looking beyond the conventional way of your supply chain. Look around on how to get across your customer with your goods. Bargain with them that you can supply that at their doorstep. Open a WhatsApp group. Coordinate them there. Speak to them about your products. For parents who do not have the luxury, the skill of doing this, you have children. Let your children be part of your household income now. That is why you send them to school. Let them use their phone to open up WhatsApp group for your business. Even if it is a way you are selling, it doesn't matter. Businesses are going on here now, and you cannot afford to stay on ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akinwale. Yeah, you talked about networking, right? If I'm right. But I want to ask, I won't throw the questions to you. I'll ask Mr. Kenny, what is networking? What is networking?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Networking can be likened to an MLM. What is a MLM? That is multi-level marketing. Networking is a marketing concept. Networking is a marketing what? Concept. For instance, there is one that I know of that I do, and that has also been helping me. I am a salary earner. And that is one of the passive income that I've been making. Call it the long reach. Long reach is an MLM concept. That is a networking concept.
Okay.
And every Thursday, I get paid.
Excuse me, sir. Can we get that again for the sake of our listeners? MLM.
That is a multi-level marketing. So that qualifies networking as a marketing tools.
Okay, sir.
So, and I was saying about example of a marketing tool. Example of an MLM. That the one that I know of, that I am also part of, that pays me every week to complement my salary that I use to finance and my family. That is long reach. Every Thursday I get paid. And this payment comes straight into my into my account. And I also use. So if you want to know more about MLM, multi-level marketing, and long reach in particular, you can contact this DF media team.
FavourRadio.
And they will get you across my contact.
FavourRadio.
Thank you.
And in the meantime, we have another very important thing we need to talk about, and that is how can the church help our members in a situation like this? We've heard a lot already. I know people that would say the church has been taken from you guys all this while. What are they doing to help you? What can they do? What will they do?
What are they giving back?
They've been doing.
And my king, we have people paying tithes and offerings, not just in small amounts. So they are expecting the church at least to give back to them what they've given back, or what they've given to the church.
To the left.
Yes, yes.
That is the point. So I would, because we don't have that luxury of time, I would want you to share a few things with us on that. In 1 minute,
Mr. Kenny should start.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Kenny should
Let's
start.
go.
Yes, thank you for that question. That I know of very well. This is a time to appreciate people who have stood by you over the years. Most especially as a church of God. You have your member who have been coming under the rain in the sun to attend church services over and over again. And now this is really the time to pay back. Before I come to the church, let's go to the secular world. We've had UBA giving a support to the federal government of Nigeria to the tune of 5 billion naira.
Yeah, we've been hearing billions.
We've had Dangote, we've had Otedola, and the list continues like that. This is the time to really give back to the people who had stood by you over the years. Two-Face Idibia also did. Because people are actually patronizing Two-Face Idibia, buying his CDs.
Yes.
So this is a time Two-Face also thought wise to give back. This would not exclude the church of God as well. I have seen churches whereby church will invite people to come and collect foodstuffs. And I know for real and for sure that my church has also done it.
Of course.
Whereby the church invites people to come and collect rice, beans, gari,
yes,
and sometimes give what? Give cash. This is the time for the church to give back to our members. And which I know is one of the things the church will do now. Another thing that the church will do now is to continue to pray. Pray to God Almighty to heal the land, to heal the world. The world is sick now. This is the time we need prayer. Someone said to me on a lighter mood that the churches shouldn't have been closed. That it was even a woman who said that if the churches had been allowed to gather, they would have gathered together and pray fervently, and all these things would have been over. In as much I want to believe in the power of prayer, this is the time we also need the church, all our big men of God, including myself,
yeah,
will continue to pray day in and night, that the Lord should heal our land and heal the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenny. Mr. Akinwale, okay, can you just say one or two things concerning that question?
All right. Thank you once again. The church is a microcosm of the entire society. So, church has nowhere to run to or any hiding place,
yes,
in the face of this reality.
That's true.
All other parts of the society have been doing one thing or the other. In fact, recently, a few days ago, I stumbled on a post. It's a news feed. And on reading it, I was shocked. The headline was shocking in the first place. What was it? There is a church in the United States that is refunding the member their tithes for the past 3 years.
I think I saw that too.
So since May 2017 till May 2020,
wow,
3 years refund of tithes. That speaks volume. That is so intriguing. And that brings me to the fact that this COVID-19 is appearing to deal with most of us that are prodigal in nature. We are like prodigal children. You remember the story of the prodigal son in the Bible?
Yes.
Had all things under the roof of his father, was lackadaisical and was just irresponsible. When he found his way outside, he wasn't sent away. Hunger brought him back.
Yeah.
In the same way, COVID-19 is sending us back to our first love. And the first love I'm talking about is our concern for the needy, our concern for the poor, our concern for people that Jesus would naturally have concern for. You read a book called What Would Jesus Do? So during COVID-19, what would Jesus do? That's exactly what the church is supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Gofamint or any other church should refund 3 years tithe or 2 years tithe or a year tithe. But we can do something to mark our presence and our relevance in the life of our people, which we have started already. Deacon Olajuwon just told us what the Gofamint assembly has done here in giving out to people, but there is a whole lot more we need to do. COVID-19 has equally shown to us that most of us, most society, we are only reactive. We are not proactive. So, to respond, we need to respond to what COVID-19 has brought to us in advance. Now, what do we need to do? The church is expected to have looked into what is actually bedeviling the society and the economy. And if the government is looking away from it, if the church looks into it, it's the best. And what is it? For a long time, Nigeria as a country has ruined its economy. In fact, the economy of Nigeria died on arrival. How do I mean? The agricultural sector, that is the brain of the whole workability of the economy, has been jettisoned for so many years because of the discovery of oil. And that is the raw material sector where every other sector is dependent on. So the real sector is being left unattended to, while you are focusing on something else that doesn't help your economy. So if the church comes up with entrepreneurship initiative, not necessarily when there is pandemic, let it be a culture in the church. Church asks the population. Let church gather on, create an initiative or a team where all their youth are brought into consensus. There is a particular farmland. Church even happens everywhere. Why can't church cultivate that land? Let youth be farming in one way or the other. Let church contribute to the exports earnings of the country. And when any pandemic happens, pandemic will not affect essential sector. Agriculture belongs to essential sector because that is food. So such church, their youth and their members will just be enjoying themselves and others. So we could equally pray. Prayer is good, but for God to have allowed this thing to travel all the way from China down here, I think there was a sense God wanted us to imbibe before He stops it. He's going to stop it, but the effect will linger for a while. We need to deal with the effect. In dealing with the effect is the fact that we need to see the reality. Let us brace up. Don't stay put to the Bible alone. Don't stay put to prayer alone. See the reality of the society. Do it and pray along. That's when it works. Thank you.
Okay, on the very last note, can you just say something in 30 seconds? Share something with our listeners, please. In 30 seconds, like a summary, in 30 seconds.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Kiwale.
Once again, about the last comment I will make on the program. Well, we got to know about the statistics that was brought out recently. The last quarter of 2019, the National Bureau of Statistics told us that Nigeria is overly dependent on China, and all of our imports is just too much from China. In fact, 70% of what Nigeria imported from China last year were raw materials. That is killing. It means that our primary sector is 70% dependent on China. My people, think local. At the moment now, go to a baby store, all baby items, they are all imported. And that is why they are costly and everything over. So I want to speak to Nigerians. I want to speak to Christians. I need you to think local, buy local. COVID-19 has driven us back into our home. We think inside out now. We cannot place our development on outside the world again. Development cannot be imported. It can be built from the scratch from within. So think local, buy local, and do the needful during COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akinwale. Mr. Kenny, let's hear from you too.
Yeah, for 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. I'm actually counting down on you.
I want to quickly say this. COVID-19 is going to be an eye opener for some people. That just as we're talking about the effect, we have said so much about the negative effect, as well as COVID-19 will be having a negative effect. It will also have a positive effect for some people. I have known of a company that produces hand sanitizer now. Their revenue has gone up. So what am I bringing out from here? That we should think outside the box. that even if it is not going to be well with some people, it is going to be well with me. I am going to make more money. And that is why I am thinking agriculture. I'll go back to my farm, go and restructure my farm, and see how it's going to be better for me, my family, my state, my country, and the world at large. Thank you.